Hey everybody, this is Wild and Woolly Gaming coming to you live from the middle of nowhere, the center of everywhere, bringing you what is likely to be the last of my Hyundai Elantra Sport, and I guess you might even include the N-Line car reviews. So, this is my 2.5-year mark. I feel like that's sufficient for anyone who might even be looking to purchase this used, at least relatively new used vehicle. But before I even get in, I want to say thanks for everyone for looking at my other videos. If you've done so, thanks for everyone watching this video. It really means a lot to me. If you could like and subscribe, that would mean a ton to me as well. Seriously, I'm really trying to get a lot of good content out there, and having that encouragement would really be great. Especially if you are one to want to watch gaming videos, especially War Thunder, things like that. Either way, so I want to get kind of into the nitty-gritty of this video real quick. I feel like there's a lot of good things about this vehicle that should really be showcased, but there's also a few negatives that I've noticed over the last 2.5 years, but have probably also gotten a little bit worse as I've continued to drive it. So just so you know, slight disclaimer, this is a lease. I will have to give this, well, I won't have to give it up in 3 years, but I will not be purchasing the vehicle once the lease is up. It just doesn't seem like it's worth it to me. If maybe they dropped a few $1,000s off the price, it'd be cool. But just the way that it is, I don't see this vehicle as really having a great time over 70,000 miles. And I'll get into that in just a few moments. But, to start, I'll just kind of go over the cool things about this vehicle. So first and foremost, the power is still there. 27,456 miles in. Power's still great, especially once you get your foot on the gas and activate the turbo. I can't say enough about it. It still feels awesome, almost like, once it had been broken in, it's around 1,000 miles. It feels great. Fuel efficiency is still there. I'm getting over 45 miles per gallon, especially on longer trips at medium speeds. It's just an awesome combination when you can have the power when you want, the fuel efficiency that you want. And something to note is that, I think the fuel efficiency rating for this vehicle in particular is around 35 miles per gallon highway, which for highway speeds is about right. But when you're coming to, 30, 40 mile per hour, intercity speeds, it's actually, you're getting quite a bit more than that. So, especially on a clear road. Another great thing about this vehicle that I really love, especially in comparison to the newer Elantra Sports, the 2019 and 2020s, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the 2020s share the 2019 look. Just the looks, like I said. The 2019 Elantra Sport is just not nearly as good looking of a vehicle as the 2018. Or when I say the Elantra Sport, I mean to say the Elantra N-Line. They've taken out the Sport name, and it's become the N-Line. Essentially, it's the same vehicle, but they're just really trying to not only create but promote their N performance brand, understandably. But I feel like the Sports, so the 2017, which is what this is, and the 2018 look far better. And in fact, actually, I met a guy who didn't want the 2019 because of its looks. The 2018, 2017 models, in my opinion, look significantly better, and I've actually seen that opinion echoed throughout several forums. So further, one thing that I do really like about this vehicle is, and I'll try to show you this here, but this actually has a performance meter, if you want to call it that, like a data recorder. So let's see if you can if I can access this here. So we just basically go to the all menu section and then kind of go down. And I don't know if you need Blue Link for this, but I'm assuming you might. I've always had Blue Link. So then you can click on that. You can see exactly what your performance is and also how long your driving distance is and all these other cool things about it. So it's not as detailed as a lot of other vehicles, especially performance-oriented vehicles like a Camaro, Corvette, things like that. And I would assume a GTR has something similar, but it's still a pretty nifty little feature for a car that you can otherwise get for about $20,000. So further, that's probably about the things I mainly like, and I'm just trying to get into like the big things here. What I don't like about this vehicle, it's kind of a double-edged sword. So I love the dual clutch transmission on open roads. It's fantastic. You don't even know you're shifting, and it's not like, you know, you're driving a lawnmower at 70 miles per hour like you would, you know, with a CVT essentially. But the dual clutch, when you're just going around town, especially in traffic, and especially if you're just, you know, going 5 miles per hour, like let's say at a yield or something, and then you have to gas your car to like go back up to a certain speed, it is a terror. I really don't have many good things to say about the low speed characteristics of the dual clutch transmission. It's just surprisingly bad. So much so that I would definitely have to have a lot, you know, for example, the Veloster N would have to have a lot going for it, because that's a car I'm considering after this, for me to consider it, just because it's really kind of shaken my belief in Hyundai's build quality that much. And albeit I get that's a dual clutch transmission, and there are some things inherent to its design and application. I get it. You know, there's some faults that you really are not going to get around. You can improve upon them, but it just seems like the application in my car, at least on, you know, low speed and things like that, it's just not good. So if you're driving this car in the city, I would not recommend it. Like in an actual city with bad traffic, New York City, Los Angeles, things like that, with the dual clutch transmission, I would avoid it. Otherwise, it's great. I love the transmission. Another thing that I really do not like about this vehicle is the fact that every now and again, when I put this vehicle in reverse, especially after a rainy day and you know, parking for a few hours, it doesn't move. So I actually have to put my foot on the gas pretty substantially, you know, relative to you know, reverse, and then it just jars back, you know, it just kind of lurches back, and it makes this really unpleasant like metal noise, as though something's releasing. I don't know if it's the brakes that just kind of get, you know, stuck on the, you know, they just kind of get stuck, or whatever the case may be, but it's a very strange occurrence, and I might have only had that happen once or twice with my old Impala, and that was probably after 100,000 miles. This has been happening to my car. This has been happening to this car probably since about maybe not even 10,000 miles in. So it's a pretty disconcerting thing. Another thing are the shocks in the back. I've noticed that they're kind of crunching around already, and they have been for thousands upon thousands of miles, probably since before 20,000 miles. And that's just disconcerting. Things like that make me wonder about the build quality of this long term, which is one of the reasons why I'm not going to pick it up beyond the lease. So, you know, oh, and one other thing, a good thing about the vehicle is, and I had complained about this in years past, or videos past, are the tires. The tires are surprisingly good. I actually managed to get up a hill, probably about a 45-degree hill, I'm guessing, at 150 feet of like snow-covered hill. And when I say snow-covered, I'm talking 3 to 4 inches deep, unplowed and all that. I managed to make it up the hill with this car, you know, from a stop no less. So it's the tires are actually fairly impressive, and you know, I'm fairly impressed by them, as well as the brakes. The durability are actually, they're excellent as well. I mean, I've got around 27,500 miles in this vehicle, and the tires still have plenty of tread on them. The tires and the brakes still have plenty on them as well. So, you know, as inexpensive as the tires are, I can't really say anything bad about the durability. And, you know, especially the tires in bad weather, despite the fact that the performance tires, that one time they did really impress me. So I guess good job looking out for parts, Hyundai. Anyways, so I hope I covered everything with this vehicle. You know, there's a lot to cover. I'm trying to kind of cover both the sports and the basic Elantra N lines, because again, essentially they are the same vehicle. There's some differences, but they're not major enough to where you'd have to look at a completely separate N line vehicle, or a 2018 sport vehicle versus this video. So at least in my experience and the things I've read. So again, thanks so much, guys. I hope I kept it relatively short. I don't want to keep you guys, you know, busy all the time just watching this video. But, you know, again, it really means a lot that you're watching it. And, you know, if you liked it, Or even if you didn't like it, it would still be awesome if you liked and subscribed, you know, to my page. So anyways, thanks again, guys, and keep cool, dudes. It still sounds good at over 27,400 miles.